Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Moon. It's me, Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld Michelle. And today we're going to talk about when you lose camera roll or shooter roll. You know, the file within Windows, which inside, the Windows file overseer where films, likenesses go to, unless you go in and shift a setting. So yesterday, uh, that that happened. Well, not on Google Android, but on Smallsoft Windows. Jordan goes to make her film. It then says, sorry, likeness cannot be kept. Sorry, film cannot be kept. And then, well, you do the following things. One, you start your reckoner over again, or you shut it down and start it up again, thinking, well, if it is a bug or glitch, then that will be the answer. And it was not the answer. What ended up being the answer, folks, is you had to take the mouse out of where the mouse was at, and the Webshooter where the Webshooter was at, and then put the mouse where the Webshooter was in, and put the Webshooter where the mouse was in, and then that seemed to be the answer. But sadly, that's not going to be the hill. You're going to read on sundry websites, on Google, Yahoo, and Bing saying, oh, you got to go into this setting. You got to write this. You got to undo this setting. You got to, start this over, shut this down, look for this bullshit updates, because they're not going to give you, and these in the films that you're going to watch on YouTube or Euro or Daily Motion or Daily Work, it's not going to be that smooth. And you're not even going to read it anywhere in no handbook. Now, some folks need to say, why would shooter roll be missing or gone from the file overseer? If you didn't go in and take it out, how could it be gone? I don't know. A glitch, I guess, in Smallsoft Windows. I know someone out there is going to say the H word, hacked, but guess what? Was not hacked due to the grounds that we have every Edge, Fighter, and Windows update that there is so far. And we've been very careful about what we're downloading, what websites we go on. So yeah, less likely to be a hack. I put it off to being a glitch. And it's an irksome glitch. Because there's no warning for it. There's no way to know when it's going to happen. But sadly, it happened. You're right, Sailor Moon. It's most likely a glitch. And Smallsoft Windows. I would believe that it also is a glitch in Apple's Macintosh OS or Gecko Linux or Google Chrome OS. That makes the file in the file overseer go missing or be lost or whatever. I most likely believe this could most likely happen on Google Android or even Apple iOS as well. So it's not only something that can happen to reckoners, but I think it can also happen to far-wide speakers as well. And for some grounds, putting it in where the mouse was plugged in, putting the Webshooter in where the mouse was plugged in, and putting the mouse where the Webshooter was plugged in seemed to be the answer to this irksome asking thing. Because once again, as Sailor Moon has said, you sadly, as Sailor Moon has put it, sadly, if you go looking for films or go looking, you're going to see folks say, oh, well, you got to go into this setting and you got to look for this update and you got to shift this setting off Then you got to go in and shift this setting off and put this setting on, you know. All long time bullshit that you don't need to do, because they're not going to tell you, oh, you need to take your mouse out where your mouse is at and your web shooter's at, and then plug your mouse where your web shooter was at and plug your mouse where the web shooter was at, you know. Because they're not going to tell you that, because in their mind they don't think there's a smooth ant hill for it. So I'm telling you right now, folks, that's what you need to do. At least it worked for me and my laptop, my reckoner. It need be not work for yours. So I'm not going to go out there and say that it's going to work for everyone. But yeah, so take your mouse where your mouse is plugged in and take that out. Then take your web shooter out where your web shooter is plugged in and take that out. Then plug your mouse where your web shooter was plugged in, and then plug your web shooter where your mouse was plugged in, and that need be will be the answer. Because shutting it down and starting it over, looking for updates you know you're not going to get, going into all kinds of settings and shifting shit on and shifting shit off, you know, and starting up this shit isn't the answer. At least not for us. Well, you're right, Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld. Hopefully this is the answer. Hopefully it helps you like it helped us. If not, then I'm sorry. It is what it is. You know, I don't really know how. I'm not really that good when I'm kind of good when it comes to reckoners, but when it comes to dealing with all kinds of, you know, above settings and this thing, no, not good with that at all. So if you like this film, give it a like, share and playlist it, and we'll see you later.